I grabbed this car off of Marketplace, pretty cheap. It does already have a 5.3 liter under the hood, and we're just gonna retrofit this stuff in that chassis. Cadillac Whoop DeVille. Do you know how to tighten these bolts?
Not at all. I have no idea.
I know who didn't tighten them.
I got it.
Oh my god, and look how short it is!
It took like 2 days to get this thing out.
Literally nothing could go wrong now. Actually, you know what I forgot? Look at this, broke down over here now. I'm Joshua Mazerolle. Well, I own Vague Industries, and my show Deathwish is where expert-level fabricators use their skill set to manifest jaw-dropping creations. My crew and I are on a mission, using eye-catching stunts and machines to expose the kindness of strangers in America. This is my buddy Johnny Baker. He's got a 1990 Crown Vic. Got long travel suspension, and it's got a twin turbo LS. It runs 10.5 second quarter mile. I recently just drove it across the country, and now I need one. So I got a Cadillac.
What's the game plan?
I grabbed this car off of Marketplace, pretty cheap, because it's not finished. It does already have a 5.3 liter under the hood. It's a Florida car. Even though the paint is smoked, there is no rust at all, so perfect candidate to chop up. And I grabbed OBS Ford F250 front suspension, whoop scissors. So that wheel hub is connected to this beam. It's called twin traction beam suspension, all the way up to this pivot here. So you can get a lot of suspension travel out of these things if you throw a set of coilover shocks in them. And we're just gonna retrofit this stuff in that chassis.
Fun. What are we ripping off here?
Everything.
Everything.
Like upper, lower, steering. We're leaving the steering box, but...
Bye, Mr. Coil.
Oh, yowza.
I had to cut the brake line out. Strip the nut. Just stuck, frozen.
This thing's coming apart pretty easy, huh?
Working on a Florida car is sick. Every nut and bolt just comes right out. Crazy how much longer this arm is than this. It's like 6 inches longer than the short side. So all we gotta do is get this arm off. I'm gonna grab another one of these arms from another truck, and then I'm gonna use 2 rights on the Cadillac, which has no name yet. So factory cross member needs to be pancaked. So I'm gonna cut it on this line and then just cap it off, and I'll have something nice and square and shorter so we can get the ride height a little bit lower. Beautiful. So is it long travel yet?
Yes. Use your imagination.
I chose a 285/70 R17 Falcon Wild Peak mud terrain. Great road manners. They're quiet, they're comfortable, but they've also got big voids and big tread blocks that are good for off-road and grabbing the dirt. They're roughly like a 33-inch tire, and they're gonna be perfect on this Cadillac. So I put my left steering knuckle on an additional right arm from another truck. So I've got 2 right arms, and it's a strange setup, but it's gonna end up being a center mount beam setup. Obviously we got some squaring up to do and stuff, but get the rough idea. 2 right arms, so they're the same length. I'm gonna build a swing set steering system with a center mount, center takeoff tie rods, but this puts it at roughly the right width overall. Just gonna cap this off, make some tabs hang down. Bang, whoop scissors. I don't know if it's technically scissors if they don't cross. Let's see. So I cut some heavy duty plates to build some radius arms. I just gotta tack them together, run a good bead on it, and then we'll weld tube to attach it to the car. I want to show off a cool new tool I've got. I got a Millermatic 255. It's got all sorts of cool settings. It's got push, pull, pulse. I can do aluminum with it, and it's got an auto set. And I've always been weary of the auto set function on these newer welders. Probably that's just the old man in me. It turns out it's like a cheat mode. It's like it knows how to set the welder better than I do, and it makes me look like a professional. It's pretty cool. I just tell it what thickness I want, and then it gives it base parameters, and then it adjusts in real time based on the resistance of the actual arc on what it needs to change in order to have a proper weld. Too easy. So I took this plate that we capped the cross member off with, I tipped it back 5 degrees because each one of these beams has roughly 5 degrees of caster cast into the beam itself. So this set at 5 degrees, one of these is going to be at 0 and the other one's going to be at 10. So I'm going to preload the bushings. I'm going to twist these bushings so that this one's twisted back 5 degrees, the other one's going to be twisted forward 5 degrees, so they both have 5 degrees of preloaded bushing on the bushing, and then the caster itself will be 5 degrees on each side. So it's like, it's just a junk old Cadillac. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. All I want to do is jump with all my friends in the car. Giving parts out 99 Up Chevy trucks. He's got a whole stack of stuff for me for this Cadillac. So Giffen dropped off this bitchin' cabin chassis 14 bolt, and it's 63 inches wide, wheel mount surface to wheel mount surface. And he also dropped off a LC3, oh look at that. He dropped off a Cadillac supercharger in case I have all kinds of extra time at the end of this build.
Ooh. Okay.
These old 14 bolt axle housings came out of 1 ton and heavy 3/4 ton Chevy trucks. They had 2 different housings and 2 different hubs, and with that they made a bunch of different combinations of wheel mount surfaces and dualies and single wheels. So this is a single wheel / cabin chassis housing with dual wheel hubs, and it tucks everything in. The dual wheel 14 bolt is a wider housing with the dual wheel hubs. So you could, if you wanted, take a dual wheel housing with single wheel hubs and make a super wide 14 bolt. But this is the narrowest combination that they came with, which is a single wheel housing with a dual wheel hubs. It sucks it into roughly 63 inch wheel mount surface. Still going to be a little bit too wide for this car, but it should match the front. And I just always wanted a 1-ton Cadillac, and here we go.
Hey. Trying to get this crappy 10 bolt out of here because you don't need that anymore.
Yeah. Let gravity do the work. One step closer to having a 1-ton long travel Cadillac. So now we're gonna snip this lump off so we have room for shocks.
There you go.
I'm just getting ready to stake this rotor to the hub, secure it in place instead of the old drum.
You know, it saves about 100 pounds of unsprung weight.
I actually believe that.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
got the radius arms out, and I used my fancy tube cutter to cut some tubes as gussets. I gotta sort of adjust the fitment, but I'll just glue these in place, and then it'll keep it all oriented, and I'm gonna mount a shock right to this lower tube. I was told if you paint it while it's still hot, it's technically Mexican powder coat. Sure you want to see in here? Fingers crossed it's good. We don't have time for not good. Oh, cool. It's not all rusty. That's good. Yeah. Well, we're too far in to... Come on now. Don't make fun of me. We're too far in to not weld the disc. So now we got to just pull the carrier out and glue this up. Boom! Just welded all the spider gears together. Got to put the other carrier half back on, throw it back in the axle, seal it all up, and stuff it under the Cadillac. Dun, dun, dun. How many bolts hold that diff cover on?
7. Twice?
He's a car guy, he doesn't know anything. Now that the radius arms and the beams are in, it's time to mount shocks. And I'm putting sort of real deal shocks on here. Sorta, because I'll tell you why they're real deal. So these shocks are called triple bypass shocks. It's because they've got 3 bypass tubes on it. So you end up with soft, a little stiffer, and a little bit stiffer damping zones. And the same thing for the rebound tube. As it comes down, it bypasses, and you can just externally adjust. So it gets progressively stiffer the closer to the bump stop it gets. The reason why this isn't exactly fully real deal shock is because this actually has a giant shock shaft, and so big that the volume it displaces actually creates a bit of like an air spring. It rides on air. It doesn't actually have a coil. And because it rides on the air, now that shock isn't only damping the oscillation of the suspension, it is also holding the weight of the vehicle. So when the oil gets hot and heats up, it's going to expand, which then in turn raises the ride height. It changes the whole spring curve. Your whole valving sort of goes right out the window because it drastically changes up and down with temperature. But for what this is, just driving on the street, doing some tough trucks, a couple of jump some snowbanks, it's exactly what this needs. It's a nice tight shock package. It's got everything all in one. And I don't need to worry about mounting coilovers and bypasses and air bumps and whatever. Yeah, this is gonna be sick. It's gonna ride like a Cadillac in the front. Cadillac Whoop DeVille. So I cut out some shock hoops. This is gonna go in something like this. Something sick just pulled in.
Made it.
This thing's dope.
Nothing falling apart yet?
Well, I'm sure it's all on its way.
Yeah.
This thing's sick. What's in it?
6 liter.
Yeah.
LQ4. Stock everything except for cam and springs.
Yeah. The rest of the car looks stock too.
Yeah, this is stock car.
Right.
Right.
What trans is in it?
T5 out of like an 80s IROC Camaro.
Cool. So we got like 3 days to finish this Cadillac. Your car is obviously 100% done because it drives.
That's it. It's good. Nothing.
This is going to be a good convoy all the way to Kentucky. Oh, cool. This is neat too.
Yeah, you know, because it's street legal.
Right, totally.
Yeah,
Sick.
with golf cart parts.
Yeah, we're going to jail.
Just trying to make sure we got space for a battery with tires and space to get the wheel wells back in and...
Right, because the wheel well is the battery tray.
Yeah.
So there's hope that it might work.
It looking close.
And that's with the wheel well in.
Wheel wells in.
Does it have any more up travel in the shock?
Yes.
Oh,
A little bit.
is it hitting back there?
I'm already hitting in the back here, so.
Bam.
Little game of capture the rotor. Disc brakes are on. These are calipers and rotors off of a 79 Chevy K20. Just sort of staked them on here and welded some brackets in place. They should have been bolt on, but there's a series of excuses on why I just glued them. This is ready to go underneath the Whoop DeVille.
Let's get it in.
All right, pick it up, put it in.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Gonna clean this frame up so we can get some new leaf spring bounce on here for the new 14-bolt rear end.
So Tim does wire stuff, and he's gonna deal with,
I pretend to do wire stuff.
yeah, all that stuff. But I have no idea. This is where the engine runs. Good luck. So look how good it looks, though. That plastic convoluted tubing just makes it look cheap. Like I got all these parts from a junkyard or something.
95 Ford F250 brakes. So bolting the calipers on now. So first one from caliper to the I-beam. And we'll make a bracket. And then we'll do one from the frame to the beam. And then we'll connect the factory brakes here. And then it'll give us enough for suspension travel.
So these are S10 ZR2 leaf springs. They've got a good bit of arc to them. And what you got to do to get the shackle angle correct is measure from the center point of the front eye along the arc and up to the center point of the rear eye. This one turned out to be, I want to say, like 54 1/4, something like that. And then you subtract the length of the shackle from center to center from that distance. And then you have to add 1 bushing wall thickness for every set of bushings. It's usually roughly 1/4 of an inch for each. So you can add quarter, quarter, quarter. That's 3/4 of an inch. And then that gives you your linear distance from your shackle hanger to your spring hanger. This will allow maximum suspension travel out of the shackle and spring combo you have selected. A longer shackle using this formula will end up with a softer wheel rate.
Sounds like a lot of gibberish.
Yeah, simple math. It's just addition of subtraction, and basically what that does is it allows the shackle to have maximum angle without camming over. So we're about to see how tall this thing sits in the rear, and hopefully it's close. Maybe put an eye on the fenders and body lines.
Yep. It's not even close though, even with the light off. It's gonna be tight.
Oh yeah. Now I have so much more room.
It looks way better too.
This might actually close. Push it.
When you hit something.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hitting something.
It's
Pretty minor.
it wasn't the center, it's actually if you look, it was right here.
Aha, yep.
So if you that's because I could
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
you can see.
Yep, right there and there. So it's this, not
Okay.
this.
Well, we'll just tap this and it'll definitely close.
Yes.
No problems.
Yes.
Ah, it actually did kick. That's good. I used to work with a company called HeimandRodEnd.com. Same company is now known as HeimJoints.net. So I got a whole bunch of these Heim joints, tube inserts, high misalignment spacers, and I'm gonna build steering. So I built this. It's got Delrin bushings, it's got a crush sleeve, and a piece of DOM tube. This is an idler arm. It's gonna get mounted up in the car, and we'll build a relay rod that goes from the pitman arm to this idler arm out of all these Heims, and do a center mount steering thing. I'll show you. Okay, so I had to do some really goofy stuff in the steering, and it's questionably durable, but we're gonna f around and find out. This pivots on the same axis as the steering box, and the idler arm and the pitman arm are the same length, so that moves in the same way. I used some Heim joints from heimjoints.net to keep this from rotating. It ended up being a weird double shear, and like this is the failure point if it fails. And then this center steering, I don't know what you want to call it, node, joint, link, location, is in line with the pivots on the suspension beams, and that will allow me to have full suspension travel with minimal to no bump steer, which is important when you're hitting bumps. The Cadillac Whoop DeVille on Whoop scissors. So I've got one of the universal Flowmaster exhaust kits, and you basically just sort of cut all these things to length, and it fits perfectly the first time, every time. I got some Super 10s because I want this thing to sound super rowdy. You don't need a boatload of horsepower to sound great, and this definitely doesn't have a boatload of horsepower, and I want it to sound great, so all my friends can know how cool I am. It's 7 o'clock, and we want to leave tomorrow midday. Still a lot of work to do. It'll be a late night for sure.
Catching me doing my 3rd grade arts and crafts projects.
This thing's sweet. You could actually, like, if you really wanted to take your time, you could build a really nice exhaust with just this kit. I'm not looking for that. I want the exhaust to come out the back so I don't get a headache and all sleepy while I try to drive. So I decided that I am gonna do single exhaust because running 2 tailpipes is twice as much work as running 1. So I chopped the outer quarter panel off so we can increase tire clearance. This is the inner wheel well and doesn't quite reach. I did a bunch of work back here, but basically I'm using an air hammer with like a welded up ground smash tip, like a little mushroom tip, to use as like a planish hammer in a way. So I'm just coming back here and I'm stretching the material, increasing area, so it's going to expand and pull out, and it should close this gap up here so I can just weld the old inner wheel well right back to it. It looks like a pretty nice car when you get all the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'd feel better if we could scrub the seats and stuff, but...
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Maybe we can spray it with some Lysol or some Pams so your nuts don't freeze to them in the winter.
Yeah.
So I use the air hammer to stretch the sheet metal and fill the gap here. And now all I gotta do is tack weld it, cut it, grind it, sand it, tape it, paint it. Here we go. This is the test drive. The test drive is literally to the gas station and then to Kentucky. Where's Mike? I mean, I'd say I can't believe we're doing this, but this is like the 20th time I've built a vehicle and test drive was a couple thousand miles. It kind of floats like a Cadillac should. I'll learn how to drive this. It'll get less scary, I'm sure, in a few miles. So the front shock settled quite a bit. It's a little loosey-goosey on the road. Kind of wanders all over the place. Oh yeah, we're settled way out. It's not on bump stops though, so that'll at least get us to Kentucky. Part 2 starts now. I don't have a lot of faith in the transmission. I can't tell if it's doing funny things or just is funny, but we'll find out probably like New York, Pennsylvania line.
I gotta check engine light.
That's sweet. I get a transmission that slips a lot.
A lot?
So I got a gimmick bottle of stop slip, and I guarantee this is gonna fix. because it says right on it, eliminates slipping. That's exactly what we need.
So are we getting burgers after this or what?
Yeah, I think that we should get food while we're in a city and it's early enough to get food, because for the next little bit we're gonna be in like kind of no man's land.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna get later, and the more times we break down, the later it's gonna get, the less food we're gonna get to eat.
And the less places are gonna be open to get guarantees.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you Five Guys is gonna make me not hungry anymore. Try again. There you go.
Fixed.
Awesome. Let's go. You slipped in the back of a truck stop. In a tent. That was great. We're doing great on fuel. We're probably doing 16 miles to the gallon, but one tank of fuel chewed through a good bit of coolant. I don't know if that's because there was air in the system before we left, or I guess that's not that much. Quart, that's not too bad. But oil still looks good. Transmission still looks bad. Mike's car has got a transmission leak as well, and we have no way of knowing if that's going to be a problem until it's a problem, because he's got a manual trans. You gonna do anything about your transmission?
I mean, we could probably add some fluid to it, but it's just gonna come out.
Yeah, but it needs it to make it. The whole underneath is covered. Like,
I know, I'm aware.
Like, it's a major problem.
Yeah.
Do you have fluid with you?
Some, probably like another quart or so.
Well, we should find some place to do this.
I need the transmission stop leak.
That's
That's all we need.
It worked for my car. I would say we keep just topping it off until we get to wherever I gotta pull my transmission out. And then we'll definitely be working on both cars.
Perfect. Dukes the hazard.
There is no shortage of comfort in this car. We have an abundance of comfort.
So, I got my fancy little shift boot here, right? And you see the hole where there was a self-tapper and there's no longer a self-tapper?
Yeah.
Because when I self-tapped it and it hit the transmission, and I was like, that's not good, and I took it out. So it looks like it put a hole in the transmission.
Yeah, so you should have put a self-tapper.
So I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, put a self-tapper in it. I mean, we knew you were an idiot.
Well, yeah, that's a given. It's hard to see, but I think I see a hole directly under that hole.
Well, that makes sense when you were saying that there's a leak in the top of the transmission near the shifter, but not the shifter, and you don't know what it is. Now you know what it is.
Right.
You're an idiot.
Yes.
I'm friends with an idiot.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's an easy fix. All we need is a self-tapper.
I was thinking if I get some tin snips, peel the floor up, JB weld or something.
Glob of RTV, you're gonna break this T5. When it comes out, you can weld it. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. If I can get there and get it clean enough to get RTV on it.
Just a little Q-tip.
Yeah. A dab will do you.
A little dab will do you. Awesome, that's great news.
Knowing is half the battle.
A solution. Falcon, you're a lifesaver.
All right, well, we got 3.5 hours or so to go, and day one's done. So you still have silicone on the hole?
As far as I know.
So hopefully you're not losing any more trans fluid.
Hopefully. Or at least if the silicone is there, I'm losing less
Right.
fluid.
Smaller hole.
Yes.
I just got word that we did a driver swap and the new driver has lots of transmission problems. Yeah, it's not the car, it's the driver's fault. It was fine with the previous driver.
Slippy boy's getting worse.
Super slippy, huh? Well, why don't we do a driver swap? That way there, when it actually totally smokes, I'll feel better if I do it.
Sure, I would too.
Cool. All right. Every time we hit a big bump in the road, there's something that rattles up in the front end, mid-end, chassis, something. And cannot figure out what it is. And I just remembered the one bolt, the whole both front beams in. I don't think I ever tightened. So we have to pull over and check that like immediately. Because if that comes out, like everybody in the vicinity dies.
That's great.
I'm really glad we stopped because we get some loose components here. I don't know how it drives so amazing for how loose everything is under here. Do you know who tightened these bolts?
Not at all. I have no idea.
I know who didn't tighten them. We're at Gear Start Performance Transmission. Pulled up here at a reasonable time last night. We're awake at a reasonable time. Pretty much because we threw away Friday. Today's Friday and this first day of the event. We're 6.5 hours away, 7 hours away, and we still have to pull this transmission out, get it rebuilt, get it back in, and get to LS Fest. But all seems totally doable.
Body surfing.
What?
Just body surfing on the engine here.
You're tightening it.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm trying to get this transmission mount bolt or something.
Bell housing?
Yeah, bell housing bolt. Apparently I got little hands, so it helps. Or so they say. 2 days later, I got it.
Oh my god, and look how short it is!
Little guy.
It took like 2 days to get this thing out. Kind of
My pin's off.
I'll hold the torque converter with my fingertips.
I have this end.
Okay. I'm holding it all up with my arm. Like a jack stand.
Jack stand.
Yeah. Okay, we need to go up a little so I can get my arm out. Okay.
It's gonna go to you so I can get past the exhaust here. You might want to get your shoulder out of there.
Dipstick tube is getting grumpy. And that TV cable. Okay. Let's see if I can. Is the TV? Tranny's down. Whoo! Junk 200 4R out. And Gear Star's building us a new one right now. So brand new freshie. All the fixing's gonna go right in. So there's a modification that needs to be made to this Buick Pontiac Oldsmobile bell housing in order to clear the rear main seal on an LS. Yeah, we don't want to put the valve body face on the ground. And we made a modification to it, and we're just going to check fitment and see if it actually still fits. We're all starving. It's time for lunch. And we have a one car with 2 seats, so we're all going to load in the stock car right now.
It's kind of warm back here.
Greenhouse.
It's like a greenhouse.
Total family car.
There's like 4 people in history that have ever loaded 4 deep in a stock car, setting car alarms off downtown just to go get lunch. We're pretty fortunate humans. This is a beautiful thing.
Life is good.
You'll never guess who showed up while I was on lunch. Yeah! It's Chris and Mitch.
Oh, hey. In this guy. We don't know him. But he's
Yeah,
here. Get out of here.
it's Andrew.
Hey.
Yeah, so I got more hot rod friends. We're halfway here. They had their own journey. There was
did.
Deathwish-esque. And now we got one giant clan. We got 4 sweet hot rods to roll in the LS Fest with.
Oh yeah.
Cool. You guys want to help me put this transmission in?
Can't wait.
All right, let's go.
We're just gonna go ahead and put this trans cooler in place. So we have a warranty, I guess.
Those are important.
So what exactly does the transmission dyno test?
We test all the pressures in the transmission and all the shifts, shift timing, shift quality, all on the dyno.
So is this tested with the converter that we're using?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So-
we test, all transmissions are tested with the converter that is going out with it.
That makes sense.
So we know they work together. That's second gear, and it's roasted.
Just smoke.
Yeah. That's what it will look like.
Wow, that's a big difference. That's crazy.
This is the coolest thing ever. I've never seen a transmission run on a dyno. This guy's 30 years of experience, just a scientist, a wizard. Totally wild to me that we've got like a built 204R transmission, and they claim it's gonna hold up to what I'm gonna give it to, and I have no reason to believe it's not. Let's stuff this thing in.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can get on the road and see
Yes.
what breaks next.
Nothing.
Nothing. Literally nothing could go wrong now. Actually, you know what I forgot? Look at this, broke down over here now. Oh, drop it down. Oh, wow.
On three? On three?
I'm already 3 in.
Okay.
Okay, this is heavier than the other one. Let me get them jack stands under there. Yeah. Down with the tail.
Oh,
Did we get it?
I don't know. It sounded good. It looks very close.
Okay, I'm kinda on the pin. Okay, we're on the pin.
Wow.
We're good.
Jesus.
Sick, okay.
Way better. Now put a bolt.
Sweet. Everybody put bolts in. All right, boys, we're all done. All we gotta do is drive the rest of the way to Kentucky right now, because we missed a whole day of LS Fest. And now that we got this transmission in, literally nothing could go wrong.
Did you mean to install these?
What? Oh no.
These aren't important.
Extra parts.
Those are just extra parts. We're gonna edit that out. And that's it. Tune in for the next episode. So we had a small goof with the torque converter spacer thing, miscommunication, and so trans had to come back out. We had to machine a spacer thing and put it all back in, and this is, yeah. At this point, literally nothing could go wrong. We're gonna load up and hit the road. We'll be in Kentucky, 7 hours flat.
A few hours of bathroom stops.
Yeah, you drink a lot of water. There's so much that happens on these road trips that just can't be caught on camera. I'm having the time of my life with all my hot rod friends right now. Wish you were here to share it with us. We've got 2 hours left to get to Bowling Green. We're gonna roll in at about like 6 or 7 o'clock. We're a little confused on the time zone thing, but
It's 2 hours from now, but I don't know what 2 hours from now is in the other time zone.
yeah, math is hard.
Don't worry, it's 2 hours until you can take a nap. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's it.
Yeah, definitely maybe.
we're
It's
lucky,
a hard maybe.
We have 2 more hours.
Well, I'm gonna jump the out of the Whoop DeVille tomorrow. And then drive it home, because literally nothing's gonna go wrong when we're at LS Fest Airborne.
Yep.
Tell me about how your off-road experience went.
Not that good.
Why not?
Pretty bad, actually. So the front shocks need more compression damping, which is easy. That's just a twist away. Apparently, I didn't check to see if I had steering to tie rod clearance, which, like, obviously, that was, yeah, hindsight's 2020. Sweet dent lines right up with this extra long bolt, but it's not just the extra long bolt, because this side also made contact. Not so bad, but still did. So I need to chop this bolt down, and it might be self-clearance by now. It also appears, yeah, right? Yeah, whoops. Yeah, ka-smash! Also the rear tires, like I don't have bump stops in the back, and apparently I didn't cut the rear wheel wells enough. So the rear tire, like the fender cut the tire down to the cord. So I do that again, I'm gonna have no tire.
Can we see that?
Yeah, totally. And this is new. It cleared in the shop, doesn't clear under load, but it matches on both sides. And I now know how much I need to cut.
Ooh,
If you pry that open, you can see right down to the cord. So that was rough.
that's sketchy.
So unfortunately, I can't run this on the course again until we get bump stops in the back or cut this open more and do something about the clearance in the steering. So I feel like, and like I didn't even send it because I could tell that it wasn't good. So maybe we can try to find somebody with a shop. We can try to put some bump stops or something in it. I don't know. Or we can just have a lot of fun exactly the way it is. Footage wasn't that great on the dirt course because I was just gonna do a light little test pass and just sort of feel the course out, and then, you know, light turned into medium, medium turned into heavy, and heavy turned into can't do that again. And I took some pretty hard hits, and you know, blew the dash out of here, you know, visor flipped down, and cut the tires, did all sorts of bad stuff. I don't know if I really feel like doing what it takes to get this thing in the condition where I can send it again, or if I just want to enjoy my vacation and hang out with my friends. It's not often I get to do that because I'm always thrashing, because I'm always breaking my junk.